A True Prince by Kairia'sYami. Chapter 13. Under the Sea. When Aladdin hits the water, he blacks out. When he wakes, he is already far below the surface, and his lungs are empty of air. He jerks, trying to get out of the ropes holding him, and instead inhales some of the water around him. He instinctively tries coughing, but it only worsens his predicament. His vision, already blurry from being underwater, begins to fade even more, and his head becomes fuzzy. His panic begins to fade away, and despite his best efforts, his body stops its struggling. The last thing he sees is blue. Jasmine arrives just in time to see Aladdin go over the edge. When deciding where to look for Aladdin, she had decided to start with the most obvious seeming culprit, Jafar. Not only was he creepy and sinister as a default state, but she knew that he had been hungering over becoming Sultan for years. The easiest and most legitimate way to do that would be for Jafar to marry her, and he has certainly been pleased at the many failures before Aladdin came along. Now, after all the fuss she had put up against all potential suitors, not showing any against Aladdin, Jasmine wouldn't be surprised if the whole palace believes they will wed. She wouldn't necessarily be against that, but it isn't what she truly yearns for. No, that place in her heart is filled by her dedication towards her great nation. And that possibility could have led Jafar to decide he needed to take matters into his own hands. So she had planned on storming Jafar's secret room. Really, no one else seemed to realise that the staff saw a lot more than they let on, and that they were an amazing asset to have on your side. So she likely knew more about this castle and the people in it than her father and Jafar put together, simply from asking the servants. Thus, it shouldn't be a surprise that she certainly knew where Jafar's supposedly secret lair was, and shocking him into telling the truth. If he wasn't behind Aladdin's disappearance, then she would at least have proof that he had designs for the throne. If he was, then she would catch him in the act. She doesn't expect to see him toss the man who might just be the love of her life, if they were to be given enough time, of course, over the balcony into dangerous waters below. She shouts and lunges for the window, hoping against hope that maybe she'd be able to stop Aladdin's fall, to save him somehow. Instead, she is left leaning against the balcony rails as she watches the prince splash into the waves below. She can feel numbness creep up on her, as a familiar feeling she recalls from when her mother died, a sense of hopelessness and loss rising up and quelling all other emotions. But this time, it is not some illness she cannot fight that has taken someone she cares about. This time, it is a person right next to her, who is conveniently within punching distance. She turns her head and stares dully at the royal advisor to her right. Within punching distance and unsuspecting. So, instead of letting herself shut down and crumble beneath her despair, she turns it all into pure rage and whirls to advance on Jafar. Distantly, she registers that he had been speaking the entire time, and vaguely she knows he is making excuses, trying to get out of the fact that he had just murdered a foreign prince. But she finds that she does not care. She curls up her fist like she remembers one of the servants showing her back when she asked how the servant was able to defend herself against the arrogant males in the palace. Don't tuck in your thumb. Imagine exactly where you're going to be landing your fist, and don't stray your focus. Put your whole body into the punch. Jasmine is viciously pleased when she finds herself stood over Jafar, his face a laughable picture of bewilderment and pain. Her knuckles throb, but pain is better than nothing at this point, and already she can feel the numbness receding, leaving only anger. She sneers down at this man, who she utterly despises, and goes to open her mouth to call the guards to arrest Jafar. But she's interrupted before she can. "Hey, princess! Nice right hook. Now I have something to return to you. And you may have something I would love to get my hands on." The voice is familiar, though the dark emotions in it are new, and she turns around to look at the speaker, and nearly falls to her knees at the emotions that rush through her. 5 minutes earlier. Genie can safely say that if it were possible for him to have a heart attack, he would have had several in the past several minutes. For one thing, his blood pressure, had he had any blood that is, has to be going through the roof from the sheer rage he was feeling at this point. For another, watching the boy he saw as family fall into the ocean and then not come back up, while Genie is too far away to immediately do anything, nearly killed him from just being the way his, non-existent as a physical thing, heart went from galloping at 100 miles an hour to absolute stillness in an instant. Genie dives into the water, searching frantically for Aladdin. "He can't have gotten far," Genie thinks, "no matter how restless the waves are." After several seconds of searching, too long, way too long, humans need to breathe, and who's to say just hitting the water didn't already kill him? He finally spots the prince, limply tied to a chair on the sand, eyes closed and mouth open. "No, no, 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 no!" Genie immediately appears next to Aladdin, and they are floating in the air, far away from the ocean, in mere seconds. He spends several frantic seconds searching for a pulse, while also snapping all the water out of Aladdin's lungs. Somehow, miraculously, there is a pulse, strong and steady, and Genie feels himself literally deflate in disbelief and relief. "Oh!" It takes him a moment before he realizes there is some sort of protection around the prince, and it feels like Genie's magic. But he can't remember putting it on Aladdin. He feels the body in his arms begin to weakly struggle, and decides he will figure it out later. Now he has more important things to do. He shushes Aladdin softly, knowing that nearly drowning would have tired the kid out, and sets his sights on the window he knows Aladdin was flung from. When he arrives, he is surprised by the presence of Princess Jasmine. He is even more surprised by watching her land a spectacular punch on the face of him. Genie isn't usually pleased by violence. He is peaceful by nature, though because of the curse he has been under, he has done many unspeakable things in the centuries of his existence. But watching him get what he deserved was incredibly satisfying. Genie finds he rather wants to punch the vile man himself, so he decides to speak up, unbothered by the uncharacteristic venom in his own voice. "Hey, princess! Nice right hook. Now I have something to return to you, and you have something I would love to get my hands on." End of chapter. Hi guys, hope you enjoyed that one. Oh, poor Aladdin. And oh god, Genie going through all those emotions one right after the other when he's not used to it. Jeez, but what's that protection around Aladdin? Well, we'll find out next chapter. Anyway, you guys know the drill. Like, comment and subscribe and hit that bell to get notified whenever I upload a new video. Have a good day, night, or whatever time zone you're in. Bye my guys, gals and non-binary pals. I'll see you in another video. Take care.